Hello everyone, and welcome to your video on inequalities. So what is an inequality? Well, an inequality is anytime you have an equation and instead of an equal sign, you have a less than sign, a less than or equal to sign, a greater than sign, or a greater than equal to sign. So these are called inequalities. And you go about solving them pretty much the same way you would as if it was an equal sign. So to get x by itself here, I will subtract 1 from either side of the equation, and I get x is less than 9. So that means that if I'm looking at this, which is the original equation, as long as I put a number less than 9 in here, it's going to be a true statement. So if I put 5 in, for instance, it would be 5 plus 1, which is 6, which is indeed less than 10. If I put a number bigger than 9 in here, it's not going to work. Let's say I put 15 in. 15 plus 1 is 16, which is not less than 10. Do you see what I mean? So any number less than 9 will work. Any number greater than 9 will not work. Okay, let's take a look at the second one. So the second one, we have 2 times c is less than or equal to 100. So to get rid of it, I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and I get c is less than or equal to 50. So again, if I put any number in here for c, 2c less than or equal to 100, and that number is less than or equal to 50, it's going to work just fine. Let's put a 0 in. 2 times 0 is 0, and that is less than 100. So yay for us. Let's put in a bigger number. Let's put in 100. So 2 times 100 is 200, which is not less than 100. So bigger numbers don't work. Notice that we have a less than sign and an equal than and an equal to sign. That means that if c exactly equals 100, this equation will still work because equaling 100 is an option. So 2 times 50 equals 100. So that works. That's what this means. It means less than or equals to. Okay, let's take a look at this last one. So this last one, we will add 7 to both sides. So that gives us 4k is greater than, what is that going to be, 43? Divide both sides by 4. K is greater than 43 over 4, which I'm just going to leave in that improper fraction format because that's fine. Okay, so now you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, that was so easy. I can't believe she has an entire video on this. Yep, I do. Because it does get a smidge harder. The way it gets harder is dividing and multiplying by a negative number. Means that you have to switch the inequality. This is the only time you switch the inequality, is if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. Right? Remember these ones that we just did over here? We were multiplying, we were dividing, we were adding and subtracting, and we weren't moving any inequality. It started out less than, ended up less than. Started out less than or equal to, ended up less than or equal to. Started out greater than, ended up greater than. It is a little different when we start dividing and multiplying by negative numbers. So let me give you an equation. Let me give you negative 3x is less than 9. Okay, let's solve. All right, let's divide both sides by negative 3. Now, what you would do here is you would say, oh, look at, I'm dividing by a negative number. That means I have to do the reverse of this inequality and then do this math over here just like usual. So now it's as long as x is greater than negative 3, this equation works. Let's let's just check it out. Let's say that we're going to make x, you see it has to be greater than -3. Let's make it 2, okay? So -3 times 2, is that less than 9? Well, -3 times 2 is -6, so yes, it is less than 9. So it has to be greater than -3. Let's try one where it's less than -3. Let's do -3 times -10. Is that less than -9? Well, no, because look at a negative times a negative is a positive. So now we would be saying that 30 is less than 9, which isn't right. So when do you switch the inequality? You only switch it if you multiply or divide by a negative number. Let's do another one. Let's do, let me see, x over -5, let's do 2x over -5 is less than or equal to 100. Okay. So what are we going to do first? First, we're going to multiply both sides by -5. And since we're multiplying by -5, we flip our sign. So it becomes greater than or equal to. This side over here has 2x. This side over here has -500. Okay, what do we do next? We divide by 2. Do we flip our sign? No. Why? Because we're dividing by a +2. We only flip our sign if we're multiplying or dividing by a negative number. So this is going to be x is greater than or equal to -250. That is the only tricky things about inequalities. Otherwise, you just solve like normal.